الإسلام. चलो बैठ जाओ. हमारा वकास तिलावत. वालेकुम सलाम.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات سندخلهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها أبدا. وعد الله حقا ومن أصدق من الله قيلا. ليس بأمانيكم ولا أماني أهل الكتاب. من يعمل سوءا يجز به ولا يجد له من دون الله وليا ولا نصيرا. ومن يعمل من الصالحات من ذكر أو أنثى وهو مؤمن فأولئك يدخلون الجنة ولا يظلمون نقيرا. ومن أحسن دينا ممن أسلم وجهه لله وهو محسن واتبع ملة إبراهيم وهو محسن واتبع اتبع ملة إبراهيم حنيفا واتخذ الله إبراهيم خليلا ولله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وكان الله بكل شيء محيطا. Now I present before you the translation of the verses 123 to 127 of Surah Nisa. I seek refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed. In the name of Allah, the Gracious, the Ever Merciful. But as for those who believe and do good works, we will admit them into gardens beneath which streams flow, wherein they will abide forever. It is Allah's unfailing promise, and who can be more truthful than Allah in word? It shall not be according to your desires, nor according to the desires of the people of the book. Whoso does evil shall be requited for it, and he shall find for himself no friend or helper besides Allah. But whoso does good works, whether male or female, and he or she is a believer, such shall enter heaven, and shall not be wronged, even as much as the little hollow in the back of a date stone. And who is better in faith than he who submits himself entirely to Allah? And he is a doer of good, and follows the religion of Abraham, the upright? And Allah took Abraham for a special friend. And to Allah belongs all that is in the heavens, and that is in the earth. And Allah encompasses all things. Jazakallah.
Please stand up for pledge. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. I bear witness that there is none worthy of worship except Allah, the One, without any partner. And I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his servant and his messenger. I affirm that I shall always be ready to sacrifice my life, property, time, and children for the cause of faith and the community. I shall always adhere to truth and shall always be prepared to make every sacrifice for the perpetuation of the Ahmadiyya Khilafat. Inshallah. Please be seated. نظم رضوانہ شمس صاحبہ.
السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ. پاکیزہ منظوم کلام سیدنا حضرت اقدس مسیح موعود علیہ الصلوۃ والسلام. کس قدر ظاہر ہے نور اس مبدأ الانوار کا، بن رہا ہے سارا عالم، آئینہ ابصار کا. چاند کو کر دیکھ کر میں سخت بے کر ہو گیا، کیونکہ کچھ تھا نشان اس میں جمال یار کا، کیونکہ کچھ تھا نشان اس میں جمال یار کا. اس بہار حسن کا دل میں ہمارے جوش ہے، مت کرو کچھ ذکر ہم سے، ترک یا تاتار کا، مت کرو کچھ ذکر ہم سے، ترک یا تاتار کا. ہے عجب جلوہ تیری قدرت کا، پیارے ہر طرف. ہے عجب جلوہ تیری قدرت کا، پیارے ہر طرف. جس طرف دیکھے وہی راہ ہے تیرے دیدار کا، جس طرف دیکھے وہی راہ ہے تیرے دیدار کا. چشمائے خورشید موجیں تیری مشہود ہیں چشمائے خورشید میں موجیں تیری مشہود ہیں ہر ستارے میں تماشا ہے تیری چمکار کا ہر ستارے میں تماشا ہے تیری چمکار کا تو نے خود روحوں پہ اپنے ہاتھ سے چھڑکا نمک تو نے خود روحوں پہ اپنے ہاتھ سے چھڑکا نمک اس سے ہے شور محبت عاشقانے زار کا اس سے ہے شور محبت عاشقانے زار کا کس قدر ظاہر ہے نور اس مبدأ الانوار کا بن رہا ہے سارا عالم آئینہ اب سار کا بن رہا ہے سارا عالم آئینہ اب سار کا
Reports Sadr Sahiba Lajna.
Assalamualaikum. Beloved Huzur, Assalamu alaikum. This year, Lajna, Shura and Ijtema were held at Country Market, Kingsley, Hampshire, which is situated a few minutes away from Hadiqatul Mehdi. We are indebted to the support and help of Majlis Khadam al-Ahmadiyya, Ansarullah, Jamaat, Jalsa Salana teams who have helped make this event successful. Jazakallah. The program began on Friday, the 22nd of September, with the Lajna Majlis Shura. 513 delegates deliberated on 4 proposals on the topics of tarbiyat of teenage girls, issues with girls from broken families, tabligh and the budget. Recommendations will be sent to Huzur Aqdas for approval. The National Sadr election was also conducted. The National Lajna and Nasrat Ijtema has been held over the past 2 days. The theme of the Ijtema this year is Women in Islam and has been an occasion to celebrate the Diamond Jubilee of Lajna Imala UK. Lajna competitions of Tilawat, Hifz-e-Quran, Nazm, speeches, quiz, English and Urdu poetry and regional presentations took place. Our Normabain sisters participated in competitions for Tilawat, Nazm, poetry and speech competitions. All the regions delivered presentations on women in Islam. The regions were given topics to choose from, such as role of Muslim women in today's society, equality of women in Islam, Hazrat Amma Jan, a role model for Ahmadi ladies, and the status of women in Islam compared to other faiths. Lajna found these presentations extremely informative and inspiring. There were a number of marquees set up which allowed attendees to move around and participate in different tarbiyati and educational sessions throughout the day. In the workshop marquee, there was a cake competition, a health and fitness and tabligh workshop. In the competition marquee, Lajna competitions were held simultaneous with the main marquee. There are also separate Lajna marquee that housed the bookstall, a number of Lajna offices such as Rishta Nata, AMSA, Humanity First, Voice of Islam, Review of Religions, Health and Fitness, Ishat, Tabligh Desk, Waqf-e-Nau Desk, and Tariq Jadid and Waqf Jadid Desk. The International Association of Ahmadi Architects and Engineers displayed 2 models of a mosque and a village in Mali that were built with Humanity First, which Lajna Imala UK contributed towards. Additionally, there was an exhibition marquee which displayed 60 years of history of the Lajna Imala UK. On Saturday, with the permission of Huzur Aqdas, a historic Lajna flag hoisting ceremony was conducted. During Saturday lunchtime, AMSA held their president elections, and the Tarbiyat department held a meet and greet session in which women looking for rishtas for their children attended. Alhamdulillah, over 250 ladies attended. The National Nasrat Ijtema, which held concurrently with the Nasrat participation in Tilawat, English and Urdu speech, and Nazm competitions, the Nasrat rotated between education, academics and game zones. This year, the Nasrat were given their new syllabus, diaries and workbooks. The total number of Nasrat who participated in the competitions was 175. This year, the girls also enjoyed some time in the fun fair. Both Lajna and Nasrat participated in the Trade and Industry Syllabus competition in which they displayed their handicrafts. On site, overnight, accommodation was provided for approximately 300 members. Alhamdulillah, all namazes have been observed in congregation over the weekend. This year, being the historic year for Lajna Imala, as we celebrated 60 years of the establishment in the UK, the event was celebrated at local, regional and national level. This included picnics, handicraft, exhibitions at Jalsa, a Diamond Jubilee celebration presentation, the Nasrat reciting at Tirana, at the Ijtema. We've been giving sadaqat, writing and displaying the history, allowing our youngsters to remember and be inspired by the pioneer women who came when Lajna was established 60 years ago. Huzur Aqdas, on this special occasion, Lajna Imala UK would like to present Huzur a gift of £20,000. I humbly would request Huzur Aqdas to pray for Lajna Imala UK that it continues to progress.
Then? Yes. अच्छा इसके बारे में मैं बाद में अनाउंस करूँगा. Now prize distribution.
Assalamu alaikum, Huzur. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We will now distribute the prizes for Nasrat and Lajna competitions. The Nasrat competitions, the Tilawat, first prize for 7 to 9 age group goes to Fatiha Nadeem from North East region. Fatiha Nadeem from North East region. For the 10 to 12 age group, we have Shamaila Numan Muhammad from Southwest region. For the 13 to 14 age group, we have Sajila Noor from South region. These are all the Tilavat first prize winners. For the English speech competition, first prize for 7 to 9 age group, we have Roya Khan from Northwest region. 10 to 12 age group, we have Anush Ahmed from Northwest region. And for the 13 to 14 age group, Farah Khan from Batul Fateh region. For the Urdu speech competition, first prize 7 to 9 age group is Alia Abbasi from Aisha region. 10 to 12 age group is Zoha Malik from Midlands region. And 13 to 14 age group is Rafia Asim from Aisha region. For the Nazm competition, for Nasirat, first prize for 7 to 9 age group is Atiyatul Bhatti from South region, Atiyatul Alim Bhatti from South region. 10 to 12 age group is Amtul Maria Ahmed from South region. And for the 13 to 14 age group is Sajila Noor from South region. And there's a joint first and Amtul Musawir from Middlesex region. We also have 3 prizes, special prizes for Nasirat who have made extra effort in memorizing the Holy Quran, Hadith and prayers. The first person is Maria Ahmed from Southall. Second is for Sarah Butt from South Cheam. These are special awards for memorizing the Holy Quran, Hadith and prayers. And the last award goes to Fahana Aziz from Roehampton. We also have a prize for the Nasirat that raised the most money for charity. And the Majlis is Slough. So we'll ask the Nasirat Secretary to collect that prize for the Nasirat from Slough who have raised the most money for charity. We now have the Trade and Industry prizes. The first prize is for an Excellence Award, which is given in recognition of the special efforts and achievements of ladies in business. The factors that we take into account are ladies who have overcome personal and business challenges and their commitment to Jamaat and Lajna Imala. This year's winner is Famida Umar from Fazl Mosque. Famida Umar has worked exceptionally hard to establish her own beauty salon in a short period of time, and she is a dedicated worker who has demonstrated her commitment and contribution to Jamaat's service over many years. The following prizes are for the highest fundraising majalis for Lajna premises. For the large majalis, it's Roehampton. For the medium majalis size, it's Walsall. And for the small majalis, it's Newport. Now we turn to the Lajna Talim competition prizes. The Lavat. First prize is Amara Bakar from London region. Regional prizes. First prize for the regional presentations goes to Midlands region. The regional Sadr will pick this up. And for regional Nazm, first prize goes to Rizwana Shams from Batul Fateh. Urdu poetry, first prize is Fawzia Butt from London region. And English poetry competition, first prize goes to Rashida Nasir from Islamabad region. For the quiz, first prize goes to Salia Bilal from Scotland region. And for the under 30 quiz, first prize goes to Amina Nair from East region. For the extempore speeches, first prize goes to Nabila Khalid from Northwest region. We now turn to the new convert prizes. For Tilawat, first prize goes to Amina Banu from Aisha region. For Nazm, new converts, first prize goes to Uzma Shehzadi from Baitul Nur region. And for English speech, for new converts, we have first prize goes to Emma Ahmed from North East region. For the Urdu speech competition for new converts, the first prize goes to Uzma Shehzadi from Baitul Nur region. And Urdu poetry for new converts, first prize goes to Shazia Parveen from Birmingham region, from Birmingham West Majlis, from Midlands region. And English poetry for new converts, first prize goes to Samina Silva from East region. We now have prizes for the Talim end of year test. For Urdu, first prize goes to Rifat Ahmed from Leicester. And for the Talim end of year test in English, first prize goes to Maria Mohammed from Gillingham. Now we'll present the prizes for the Majalis in overall achievement in Nasirat. For the small Majalis, first prize goes to Wolverhampton. The Nasirat secretary will collect this. Second prize goes to Redbridge North. And third prize goes to Balham. For the medium Majalis, first prize goes to Mitcham. It's overall achievement in Nasirat. And there's a joint first, and the other first prize goes to Reading. Second prize goes to Morden South. And third prize goes to Tooting Broadway. For the large Majalis, Nasirat overall achievement, first prize goes to Roehampton. Second prize goes to Bradford North, and third prize goes to Inner Park. Finally, we have the Majalis Overall Achievement Awards for work in all departments in Lajna. For small Majalis, first prize goes to Newcastle. Second prize goes to Burton-upon-Trent. And third prize goes to Peterborough. For the medium Majalis overall achievement awards for Lajna, first prize goes to Walsall. Second prize goes to Tolworth. And third prize goes to Tooting Majlis. For the large Majalis, first prize goes to Roehampton Majlis. Second prize goes to Roehampton Vale. And third prize goes to Fazl Mosque. Jazakallah, this concludes our prize ceremony.
Nare Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Nare Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Lajna Maila UK! Zindabad! Nasratul Ahmadiyya UK! Zindabad! Nare Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Nare Takbir! Allahu Akbar!
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. The check presented to me of £20,000 by Sadr Lajna Maila on behalf of the Lajna Maila UK. I thank Lajna Maila UK for this gesture, and I will give this check, this amount, to Jamaat Ahmadiyya UK for the reconstruction and rehabilitation of the burned part of the Baitul Futuh Mosque. This check will go to Nisa UK. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. As a result of understanding Islam's true teachings, the members of the Jamaat, with the grace of Allah, appreciate the very high status of women according to Islam, and it is a status that most non-Ahmadi Muslims and the wider non-Muslim population are not aware of and do not comprehend. Today, your Ijtema, which is purely for Ahmadi women and girls, is concluding, and during the event, many activities and events have taken place in order to increase the religious knowledge, morality, and spirituality of the participants. Furthermore, from an administrative perspective, this Ijtema has been organized and run by women from start to end. And they will have made a program that is attuned to the needs and preferences of our ladies and girls. Hence, this Ijtema is a collective and practical demonstration of the great status bestowed upon women by Islam. One allegation often leveled against our religion is that it discriminates against women or considers them to be less than men. However, this is in complete contrast to Islam's true teachings. In chapter 4, verse 2 of the Holy Quran, the creation of human race is mentioned, and it states that Allah created humankind from a single soul. Immediately after this, the Holy Quran states, خَلَقَ مِنْهَا زَوْجَهَا, which means created therefrom its mate. In the Bible, where the creation of man and woman is discussed, the concept of a mate is also mentioned. However, it goes on to say that a woman was created from the rib of Adam. This is contrary to the teachings of the Holy Quran, which clarifies that women were not created out of the body of a man or from his rib. Rather, the Quran testifies to the fact that men and women were created from a single soul and are of the same kind and species. Thus, where the Quran says, created therefrom its mate, it signifies that Allah Ta'ala has made men and women in the same way, and it cannot be said that one is dominant over the other. Furthermore, when Allah the Almighty has said, خَلَقَ مِنْهَا زَوْجَهَا, that He has created a woman in the same way that He created man, it becomes clear that Allah Ta'ala has made the hearts and minds of women in the same way that He has created the hearts and minds of men. There is no mention of woman being created from a man's rib, Rather, similarities and likeness are mentioned. Despite this, throughout history, there have been occasions where men have sought to prevent women from fulfilling their potential and responsibilities, whilst at other times, women have sought to stop men from fulfilling their duties and responsibilities. Whether due to a superiority complex or an inferiority complex, at times men have considered themselves to be intrinsically different to women, or women have considered themselves inherently different to men. However, the Holy Quran has categorically refuted this concept by saying that men and women are of the same kind. It has clarified that men and women have the same feelings and emotions. Similarly, as each man will be accountable before Allah for his deeds, so will each woman also be held accountable for her acts before God. Nevertheless, it is true that Islam has given differing responsibilities and prescribed a division of labor between the sexes. Both men and women have been given differing roles. However, this should not be misunderstood to mean that women are incapable of understanding the responsibilities placed upon men. This idea of differing responsibilities is entirely normal and according to nature. Even amongst men, there are differences that exist today, whereby people have a differing skill sets and abilities. For instance, some men are trained as doctors, others become engineers, teachers, scientists, or a range of other professions and jobs. Yet, no matter how skilled a doctor is, he is not superior to the other professionals and in other fields as well. In the same way, to maintain a sense of balance within the world, Allah the Almighty, out of His infinite wisdom, has given different roles to men and women. And they will both be held accountable before Allah with regards to the fulfillment of their respective responsibilities. Indeed, the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that just as it is the duty of a shepherd to protect his sheep, similarly it is the duty of every man and woman to fulfill their prescribed duties. Thus, if Allah Ta'ala has placed upon a woman the responsibility to ensure the moral and religious training of her children and to ensure that she protects the home and property of her husband, she must pay heed because she alone will be held accountable for these matters. In the same way, if a man has been asked with has been tasked with providing financially for his family, to care for them and fulfill their needs, he will be held accountable for this. The fact that Islam has allocated different duties to men and women does not mean that women do not have the ability to do the work of men or are inferior to in any way. As I said at the beginning, this Ijtema is being organized by Lajna members and is a great example of the excellent capabilities and organizational skills of our Ahmadi women. In fact, this Ijtema is actually a product and manifestation of the continued work and progress of Lajna Ma'ila. Thus, any man who thinks that women should not take an active part in religious affairs or make sacrifices for their faith and should stay away from religion and just remain a decoration for their husbands to enjoy is guilty of extreme ignorance. Similarly, if any woman thinks that due to her domestic responsibilities, she does not need to partake in religious matters or make sacrifices for her faith and nation, she too is mistaken and is guilty of undermining the status of women. It was for the very sake of making our Ahmadi women understand their responsibilities and to remove any doubt about the need for women to be involved in religious matters and other activities, as Muslim Anhu established Lajna Ma'ila, so that every Ahmadi lady could become an active member of the Jamaat. Very beautifully, as Muslim Anhu said that for a man the best name is Abdullah, and in the same way the best name for a woman is Amtullah, because any man should desire above all to be a man of God and his servant, whilst any woman should desire to be a woman of God and his servant. Indeed, in the Holy Quran, of all the qualities of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, one mentioned by Allah the Almighty is of his being Abdullah, a true man of God and his servant. Therefore, to be a sincere servant of Allah should be the greatest desire for any Muslim lady, and this is the reason your auxiliary organization has been named Lajna Ma'ila. Accordingly, every Ahmadi woman should sincerely strive to be a servant of God so that they may become an heir to his rewards rather than inheritors of his wrath and anger. In worldly terms, a person who has fulfilled his duties in the best way is presented before the monarch in order to receive an honor or reward, whilst a criminal is presented before the authorities for sanctions and punishment, whilst covetous glances are cast in the direction of the person who receives honors. Criminals are looked upon with disgust and pity. Thus, every lady, every woman should seek to ensure that she understands her duties and strive to be amongst those who attain the reward of Allah the Almighty. In terms of your duties to the Jamaat and faith, you should remember that in the eyes of Allah, the responsibilities and duties placed upon men and women are the same, and both must be ready to fulfill their pledges and make sacrifices for the sake of Islam. Speaking about the great sacrifices made by women in bygone eras, as Muslim Maud gave the example of the time of the Prophet Jesus, Islam. He said that amongst the most sincere and loyal disciples of Jesus Islam were women who would tirelessly spend their days and nights spreading his message, and their sacrifices have been recorded in Christian history as a source of pride. Indeed, when Jesus Islam was taken down from the cross and emerged from the coffin in which he was subsequently placed, it was women who were the first to greet and help him, whilst his male disciples had run away in fear of the rulers. It is recorded that Mary Magdalene and two other women disregarded any fears for their own safety and reached Jesus in the very early hours of the morning. In this way, they displayed immense bravery and exhibited a firm faith that exceeded the standards of the men. This was the example of the time of Jesus Islam. But of all the prophets, without doubt, it is the life of the Holy Prophet ﷺ that has been documented and preserved in greatest detail. And unquestionably, during his blessed era, the sacrifices made by the Muslim women reached a pinnacle and were of standards that has never been witnessed at any other juncture of history. Indeed, when you read about the sacrifices made for the sake of their faith, you can only be overcome with emotion. During that early period of Islam, the Holy Prophet ﷺ and his followers were subjected to ferocious levels of persecution, and unspeakable cruelties were inflicted upon them. Whilst all the early Muslims had to face persecution, nonetheless, the treatment of Muslim slaves was even more inhuman and brutal. For example, amongst the companions were a husband and wife. Both of them were slaves of a non-Muslim, and their owner inflicted such merciless and terrifying cruelties upon them that merely reading about their treatment leaves a person shaken to the core. They would be forced to lie on scorching hot sands and beaten relentlessly on their chests and bodies. They would be left to burn to the point that their eyes would become completely red and swollen beyond all limits. Yet their master showed no remorse or mercy. On one occasion, upon seeing how they were being tortured and made to lie upon the burning sands, the Holy Prophet ﷺ became overwhelmed with emotion. He was grief-stricken, like a father witnessing his children being beaten before his very eyes. He observed how the slave master sought to compel them to reject the Holy Prophet ﷺ and to accept his belief that there were many other gods apart from Allah the Almighty. Overcome with sorrow, the Holy Prophet ﷺ turned towards Allah and remained engaged in prayer for some time. Thereafter, with great emotion, the Holy Prophet ﷺ addressed the Muslim husband and wife and said, "Be patient, be patient. Surely Allah will remove you from these pains very soon, and in return, He has made a home for you in paradise." As a result of the continued torture, it was not long before the husband breathed his last. Thereafter, the owner brutally attacked the Muslim lady by piercing her stomach with a spear, and so she also joined the rank of the martyrs. These slaves were not of any worldly rank or status. Yet, due to their acceptance of the Holy Prophet ﷺ and their impeccable standards of faith, they scaled the highest spiritual mountains and have been recorded in history for evermore. They were the people who gave every possible sacrifice and bore every form of torture for the sake of their belief in the one God. The persecution of Muslims in Mecca continued unabated, and finally, when it went beyond all limits, as the enemies of Islam continued to increase their evil plots, the Holy Prophet ﷺ instructed his companions to migrate to Ethiopia. Upon this, the companions protested and asked how could it be possible that they migrate to live in peace, whilst their beloved spiritual master, the Holy Prophet ﷺ, remained in danger and continued to face the most horrific cruelties. In response, the Holy Prophet ﷺ said that Allah had not yet commanded him to migrate. If that day came, he would as well, but for the time being, his followers should go without him. Amongst those who decided to migrate was a Muslim lady, who in the early hours of one morning collected her belongings and placed them on a camel ready to depart. By chance, Hazrat Umar, who had not yet accepted Islam, walked by, and after observing this lady being forced out of her hometown in the early hours, he felt a sense of sorrow and guilt. Addressing the lady with his voice trembling with emotion, Hazrat Umar said, "It seems you are getting ready for a journey." In response, the Muslim lady said, "We can no longer tolerate the cruelties and pain inflicted upon us, and so we have been left with no choice but to leave. In the end, what did we do to you that meant you treated us so inhumanly and punished us with such cruelty? All we say is that Allah is one, but you cannot tolerate it, and so now we have to leave." This desperate and emotional response of the Muslim lady caused Hazrat Umar, who was still a formidable opponent of Islam and a person who had shown no mercy in his opposition to Muslims, to be overcome with emotion. As tears rolled down his cheeks, he could only bring himself to meekly say goodbye and all the best before turning away. Similarly, there is a famous incident pertaining to the sister of Hazrat Umar radhiyallahu anhu. On one occasion, when he remained a raging opponent of Islam, Hazrat Umar radhiyallahu anhu set out with a sword in his hand with the intention of killing the Holy Prophet ﷺ and bringing an end to Islam once and for all. On the way, a man asked him where he was going, and when he told him his purpose, the man said that he should first inquire after his own family, as one of his sisters had accepted Islam. Thus Hazrat Umar went straight to the house of his sister and knocked forcefully at the door. His sister and her husband were reciting the Quran, and upon realizing that Hazrat Umar had come, they hid their Muslim teacher as well as the pages of the Quran. However, Hazrat Umar had heard them, and so upon entering, he immediately asked what they had been reciting. His sister replied, "We were reciting the Holy Quran." Hazrat Umar said that he heard that she and her husband had become Sabi, meaning that they had accepted a belief that was not accepted by the people of Makkah. In a fit of rage, Hazrat Umar lunged forward in an attempt to strike his brother-in-law. But with great defiance and courage, his sister stepped forward to shield her husband and said, "Yes, we are Muslims, and if you want to kill us, then go ahead." Hazrat Umar was unable to withdraw his hand in time, and so he struck his sister accidentally or unintentionally in the face with such heavy force that she was wounded and blood gushed forth from her nose. Upon witnessing how his sister had sacrificed herself to protect her husband, Hazrat Umar was left astonished. Despite his hatred for Islam, Hazrat Umar was good at heart. And so, after seeing the blood on his sister's face, he felt shame and regret, for he knew that rather than protect his sister, as was his duty, he had been in means of grievously injuring her. Feeling restless and wrecked with guilt, his aggressive tone suddenly changed, and he timidly asked his sister if she would bring the pages of the Quran for him to read. Upon this, the supreme faith of his sister roared into action. And having already been beaten by her brother, she no longer remained a defenseless woman, but was transformed into a courageous lioness. Without any fear, she declared, "You cannot touch the Quran, as you are not pure or clean. I cannot place the Quran anywhere near you whilst you are in this state." Having realized that he had done what he has done, Hazrat Umar felt ashamed, and so softly asked his sister how he could purify himself so that she would permit him to read the Quran. In reply, his sister said that he must first go and bathe and clean himself, and only then would she permit him to touch the Holy Quran. As instructed, Hazrat Umar went and bathed before returning, and then his sister placed the Quran before him. After reading just for a few verses, Hazrat Umar's heart melted, and the beauty of what he was reading, and tears flowed from his eyes. Instantly, he felt abhorrence and shame for his past disbelief of Islam. Instantly, he viewed the past life with nothing but disdain and disgust. Thereupon, he stood up in an emotional state and asked where the Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is. Hearing this, his sister felt a surge of love for her brother and prayed sincerely that he would accept Islam. But at the same time, she knew that she could never forgive herself if her brother was the cause of any harm to the Holy Prophet ﷺ. Thus, she grabbed hold of the collar of Hazrat Umar, and with great emotion that only could be stirred by true faith and love for the Holy Prophet ﷺ, she said, "First swear that you will not approach Muhammad ﷺ with any ill intention." With true humility, Hazrat Umar replied, "My only intention is to become a Muslim." Upon this, his sister rejoiced and informed her brother where the Holy Prophet ﷺ was. Hazrat Umar radhiyallahu anhu duly approached the Holy Prophet ﷺ and accepted Islam in a state of total submission. Hence, this was the great sacrifice made by a woman who melted the heart of her brother, and as a result, the Muslims celebrated and raised slogans in praise of Allah. Allahu Akbar. Another astonishing example of faith pertains to the Battle of Uhud. During that war, the blessed teeth of the Holy Prophet ﷺ were broken, and word spread that he had been martyred. When this news reached Medina, Muslim women came out of their homes and ran towards the battlefield to find out the truth about their master. On the way, an elderly Muslim woman frantically asked a companion if the Holy Prophet ﷺ was alive. In response, the companion said, "I regret to tell you that your husband has been killed in the battle." Upon this, the lady said, "I am not asking about my husband. I am asking about the Holy Prophet ﷺ." The companion then said, "I regret to tell you that your brother has also been killed." Hearing this, the lady said, "I am not asking about my brother. I ask only about the Holy Prophet ﷺ." The companion then said, "I am sorry, but your son has also been killed." Upon this, the lady desperately remarked, "I do not ask about my son. I am asking if the Holy Prophet ﷺ is alive." Finally, the companion informed that the rumors regarding the Holy Prophet ﷺ had been false and he was alive. In a state of utter relief, the lady said, "I do not feel any loss or pain or grief over whoever in my family has died, because my beloved master, the Holy Prophet ﷺ, remains alive." This was the pure love and devotion professed by the Muslim women of that time towards the Holy Prophet ﷺ. These were the women who were ready for every sacrifice for the sake of Islam, and their names have been recorded in history as example for the rest of the time. Recently, I was told about an Ahmadi lady living in one of the Western countries who said that when she comes to Lajna meetings and takes the pledge, she repeats the words that for the sake of her faith and nation, she will be ready to sacrifice her life, wealth, and time. However, when it comes to the part about being ready to sacrifice her children, she remains silent, because her children are the one thing that she can never sacrifice. This is an example of a weakness in faith. And ultimately, such a person will become weaker in faith, and in reality will neither be able to sacrifice their own lives, wealth, or time for the sake of Islam. Remember, when we pledge in our bath to give precedence to our religion and faith over all worldly matters, it means that our love for Allah, for the Holy Prophet of Islam ﷺ, and for our religion should be greater than for anything or anyone else. Further, in this era, the Prophet Muhammad said that after developing a true love for Allah and for the Holy Prophet ﷺ, his followers must also form a bond of love with him. Thus, if we wish to remain part of Jamaat of the Prophet ﷺ, we must manifest our love for him by fulfilling the conditions of our bath and remaining obedient to his teachings. The Prophet ﷺ said, "In my Jamaat, I wish to see a spiritual transformation which distinguishes Ahmadis from all others. If we are just the same as other Muslims, then what is the benefit to doing bath? If we are weak and lazy in our prayers, like other Muslims, then what is the benefit? If we are weak and lazy in reading the Quran and do not follow its teachings, then what is the benefit? Thus, if according to the teachings of the Quran, you are not modest in your clothing and do not uphold the requirements of parda, what is the benefit to your bath? If you do not fulfill your responsibilities within your homes, what is the benefit to your bath? And if you do not practically manifest the teachings of Islam and do not seek to spread it, what is the benefit of being an Ahmadi? Thus, every Ahmadi lady should deeply reflect upon their pledge to give precedence to their faith over all material desires. Every one of you should constantly analyze and think about whether you have the same spirit and devotion for serving your religion that the female companions of the Holy Prophet ﷺ had. Ask yourselves if you have the same true and sincere love for Allah, the Almighty, and His noble Messenger ﷺ as the companions did. Reflect upon whether you have acquired the religious knowledge and insight needed to fulfill your duties. Consider if you are a true role model of your children and if you are bringing them up in the same righteous way that the companions raised their children. If the answer to the questions is no, you should be very worried and concerned, and it is also a cause of deep concern for the entire Jamaat. Let it be clear that you, our Ahmadi women and girls, are not living lives without purpose. Rather, you all have extremely great objectives, which I hope and pray you understand and strive to fulfill. In this era, one of the foremost objectives for our Lajna members is tabligh. And to fulfill this responsibility, you must first spiritually reform yourself. You must personally set the best example and fulfill your duty to morally train and educate your children. And you must be their guide and attach them to the Jamaat for a young age, from a young age. Only then can you fulfill your responsibilities in the field of tabligh. In this era, there is an urgent need for our women to portray Islam's true teachings and to spread them far and wide, without any fear or complex. You must propagate Islam by practicing its teachings. If anyone claims that Islam does not give women freedom or that they are oppressed by men, it is your duty to show the world that Islam has given you true freedom, true liberty, and true enlightenment. It is your duty to show the world that whatever restrictions exist are not forced upon you by men, but are willingly and freely adopted, having observed the magnificent teachings of Islam. If you do not wish to mingle freely with men or to sit alongside them, it is your own choice, made of your own volition, in order to preserve your honor and dignity. If you do not choose to shake the hands of men, it is because your heart demands that you follow Islam's teachings, which provide true dignity for women. Such conduct is not based on the demands of men, but is the result of your freedom to make your own decisions and is a symbol of true independence. Remember, following the crowd and bowing to the influences of society is not freedom. Rather, true freedom is having the strength to follow your beliefs and to act upon your convictions. Until the voice of your hearts does not emit pure love for Allah, the Almighty, and His Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the way of Hazrat Umar's sister or the elderly lady whose husband, brother and son were martyred, we cannot influence the wider world, and we cannot bring about that spiritual revolution that is destined to occur. As I said, in this era, our women must propagate Islam, and especially when it comes to women's issues, it is much more effective for women to respond than for any man to do so on their behalf. Every woman should pay careful attention to this and seek to gain knowledge of their faith so that they can refute the allegations directed at Islam and be ready for every sacrifice for the sake of their religion. Thus, I ask all of you to understand and assume your responsibilities and to fulfill your pledge to morally train the next generation in the best way and to bring your children close to the Jamaat. I ask all of you to be ready to propagate Islam's teachings through tabligh within your own circles, and especially to women. If you understand your responsibilities, I am sure that you will prove to be successful mothers and successful Ahmadi Muslim women who are ready for every sacrifice for the sake of giving precedence to their faith over all worldly matters. If you understand your duties, I am sure you will be successful in spreading the message of Islam, Ahmadiyyat, far and wide. Only then will you have fulfilled the requirements and obligations of your Bai'at. May Allah enable you all to do so. May Allah continue to bless Lajna Maila UK and indeed our Lajna organizations throughout the world. Ameen. Now join me in silent prayer. Dua. Ameen.
Nare Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Nare Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa! Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam! Mirza Ghulam Ahmad ki! Jai!
ना तराने पढ़ने तो पढ़ो जल्दी से। हाँ? अच्छा, today's attendance is 4,201. Huh?
Assalamu alaikum.
Just
Blessings of God, light of the future, sprinkling the path, this magnetic treasure.
Sprinkling the path, this magnetic treasure. A sun in the night of darkness, sweeping with all powerful brightness. Lajna Maila, United Kingdom, 60 years, God's diamond. Enlightening, empowering, strengthening our bonds, handmade future. Tomorrow we fly, taking the world to the top, inshallah. We are the future. Tomorrow we fly, taking the world to the top, inshallah. Lajna Imaila, United Kingdom, 60 years, God's diamond, 60 years, God's diamond. Nare Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Islam Ahmadiyya! Zindabad! Nasratul Ahmadiyya!
एक बस ये नजर कराना था वो
एक ही था अच्छा वो करने आ रही है
Nare Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Nare Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa! Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam!
Ghulam Ahmed Ki,
Jai! Khilafat-e Ahmadiyya!
Zindabad. Lajna Imaila,
Zindabad!
Lajna Imaila UK,
Zindabad!
Nasaratul Ahmadiyya,
Zindabad!
Nasaratul Ahmadiyya UK,
Zindabad!
Khilafat-e Ahmadiyya,
Zindabad! Shuhada-e Ahmadiyya! Zindabad! Shuhada-e Ahmadiyya!
Zindabad,
Hazrat Amirul Mu'mineen!
Zindabad,
Hazrat Khalifa Masih Al-Hamid!
Zindabad,
Ummahat-e Shuhada!
Zindabad,
Binnat-e Shuhada!
Zindabad.
Nare Takbir!
Allahu Akbar.
From 1957 to 2017, Lajna UK is 60 years now. Oh, let's celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. Oh, let's celebrate the Diamond Jubilee. La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. 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 Oh, ini biara ni ho, afata say asumno, jiso nyankupon kuti, na Muhammadu noye nismafo. La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah.
There is no God
But Allah, Muhammad is his messenger. La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Hedeste kibla noma. La ilaha illallah, heder dil ki dawa. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Kisi ki chashmi fasu, sazne kiya jadu, to dil se nikli sada. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Nare Takbir!
Allahu Akbar!
Nare Ghulam Ahmad ki Jai. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad ki Jai. Khilafat Ahmadiyya. Khilafat Ahmadiyya. Hazrat Khalifa to Messi al-Hamis. Hazrat Amir al-Mu'mineen. Nasirat al-Ahmadiyya UK. Lajna Imaila UK. Waqfati No UK. Nare Takbir.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.